Okay, anyway, we are going to intro to API, history of API. Let's understand what it is. If you know, API is just a communication between a program you create with other resources such as Google's cloud or Google's maps, Meta's posts, or retrieving older posts from accounts. And there are other APIs too, like for databases to get and retrieve data and put data from your program. Now we are trying to see what happened in history. Like, how did we get to this point? API acronym, application programming interface. Okay, it's almost always reference to modern approach in what we use HTTP to provide access to machine readable data in a JSON or XML format, often simply referred to as web APIs. APIs have been around almost as long as computing, but modern web APIs began to take shape in the early 2000s. A modern dissertation on REST by Roy Feding and a handful of emerging companies included Salesforce, eBay, and Amazon led to a definition of web APIs we use today. Okay, a commercial beginning. A web API got their start by putting the commercial in .com, powering the vision of emerging commerce startups looking to change the way we do business on web. They took advantage of this new medium to make products and services available to customers via a single web and ensure that partners and third-party resellers could extend the reach of their platform. So began to push to automate much of the commerce that was powering the web. The commerce age of web APIs was dominated by three companies: Salesforce, eBay, Amazon. 20 years later, they began commercial powerhouses and continued to shape the world of APIs. Salesforce officially launched its API in February 7, 2000 at IDG demo conference. This introduced an enterprise-class web-based Salesforce automation or Internet as a service. XML APIs were fundamental part of how Salesforce did business from day one. Okay. It looks like, from what I see, these Salesforce and eBay, Amazon, and there were a few others, but they were the main powerhouses. And they made sure that their resources, Amazon, it's AWS, Salesforce, it's sales programs, applications. They wanted their applications to be used by others easily and securely. So they made APIs so that the third-party applications can work with them efficiently and securely, so that they can work together. Why? Because that increases the amount of work, that it increases the efficiency of the AWS, I guess. It increases the reach of AWS cloud, Salesforce applications, eBay. It increases their platform by using these APIs. That's why they invented APIs, so others can talk to it. But why securely? It's because that when a customer makes a transaction with them for some amount of computation, they want to make sure someone else doesn't take that computation, doesn't benefit it, only the customer does. Yeah, that's making web much more social. In 2004, a shift of API landscape began to emerge. A new breed of API providers started to pop up. These new APIs weren't directly linked to commercial value as their counterparts. They provided value to their organization, became lucrative platforms down the road. Okay, around this time there were four major developments happening from 2006 to 2012. Delicious. In 2003, a new service storing and sharing and discovering web bookmarks emerged called Delicious. It allowed you to view them via web interface, but if you change the extension from HTML to XML, you received a machine-readable list of your bookmarks. Developers took advantage of this, building widgets and other embeddable features fit for bundling field of social media. Flickr, a popular photo sharing site, Flickr launched 6 months later, produced a now infamous API which allowed users easily embed their photos on web pages and social media. Flickr quickly became the image platform of choice for emerging social media platform. Facebook, in August 2006, Facebook launched its long-awaited development platform and API. Version 1.0 allowed developers to access Facebook users, friends, photos, events, and profile information, and helped Facebook become the most popular social network today. Twitter, in September 2006, Twitter introduced its own API in response to developers increasingly scraping content and data from the platform. Twitter incorporated API into almost every feature of the product we know today, from its mobile application to the share button. Twitter bots. It took a couple of years, but by 2010, social media had overtaken the population, and API formed the backbone. API became now well connected with friends, develop a business network, shared images and videos relaying stories from our personal and professional lives. Facebook and Twitter dominated, all while relying heavily on their communities, third-party developers, and advocates to expand their reach, growing their audience, and set stage for a new generation of social influence powered by APIs. Okay, interesting. Before we go more into this, let's just see where these visit. What happened to Delicious, my friend? Something. Okay. Okay. Back to top. Delicious was a social bookmarking web service for storing, sharing, and discovering web bookmarks. This site was founded by Joshua, some guy, and Bookmarks we know. Launched 21 years ago. Right now it's inactive. It looks like this is how it looked before. Load. Okay. Announced it acquired Delicious website in January 2006. Blog announced ownership had transitioned. New company formed between Science and Domainer Suite. On June 1st, 2017, Pinboard acquired Delicious. The service was shut down and became read-only on June 15, and its users have been encouraged to subscribe to Pinboard service. Announced plans to restore the site to Explorer state, allow data export for users, have their login credentials. I guess that's why there was login for Delicious. Yeah, you could get the data, but for me, okay. Delicious. Flickr. Is Flickr still alive? Figure out what Flickr is.
Okay, today I want to talk to you about Flickr. Flickr isn't the latest Hollywood blockbuster movie created by Pixar. It's actually an online platform for photographers. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through just the basics of Flickr, how to access it, what it's all about, and give you a little feel for the actual platform. And you guys can judge it for yourself. There are a lot of social media platforms out there for you to share your photographs, but for me, I have to say Flickr I'm leaning towards more. So as a photographer, you may feel like you want to share your work. You may want to actually get out there and put your photographs online, and sometimes it's nice to get feedback, especially if it's a nice like. We all like a pat on the back, but you may also want to put it on there, whether it's for personal or if you're actually looking to go into photography or that's actually your business. It's a great platform to advertise your work. Okay, so I'm going to fire up Flickr now, put it on the big screen, and I'm going to go minuscule size, Hugh Ant-Man. Okay, so when you open up Flickr, showing a page like this, pretty much, this is like a newsfeed page. So Flickr is an image and video hosting service and also an online community where you can post topics and have discussions with other users. It was created in 2004. It has become a popular resource for amateur and professional photographers to share their work. The image is posted at high resolution, so it maintains the quality and does not compress the image. That is brilliant. One of my bugbears, Facebook, great platform, but from a photographer's point of view, as soon as you upload that image, it compresses it, so you lose some of the quality. And that really grates on me. It's very frustrating as a photographer. So yeah, this doesn't do that, which is brilliant. So you're getting high-res quality photographs being uploaded for the whole world to see. You're on a winner. So a few years ago, they did some stats, and there was approximately 112 million registered members and around 3.5 million images uploaded every day. That is a lot of photographs. If you think about that across the year, how many photographers are out there?
Okay, let's just skip that. And it looks like it allows for good photos, and with the API you could just upload it to there and get it on your website at full res, I guess. And if possible, decrease the resolution when you don't need it. Yeah, interesting. Moving everything to cloud. As a new social reality unfolded, a seismic shift occurred that would completely transform how business was done online. Having used APIs to power their commercial visions with unprecedented success, Amazon became the model for the next generation of startups and enterprise alike. Amazon's model was API focused across its organizations. Internally, all shared digital resources were required to have an API. As companies followed their lead, thus began one of the most fundamental shifts in how we view digital resources. Two new AWS soon emerged that would rock our world: S3 and EC2. Okay, S3 is just basic storage via API, and CLI from Amazon, low cost, pay as you go model. And EC, Amazon Elastic Compute, is okay, it provided service that developers could leverage to deploy the necessary infrastructure for the next generation of applications. I guess, yeah, look, interesting. Now you could have storage on demand, and you could have computers on demand to do any computation. If you think about it, that's really incredible. Instead of renting large computers and them not being used when you don't need it, now you can only use them when you need it, and you pay the amount of price that computation or storage is. Everything is becoming more mobile. In 2007, Apple launched the iPhone. It radically changed not only how we engage with mobile phones, but how we engage with online world. In that same year, Google responded by launching Android, an open source mobile platform. These developments spurred a massive investment in a new startup looking to provide much needed resources and applications to meet the growing public demand. A few of these API first startups became the blueprint of how APIs are developed today. Google Maps, as you know, Google Maps, how it works, just getting the Google Maps on like your own website, or getting you put in an address and it automatically shows you like a list. That's how a lot of the money that Google makes comes from. Google Maps API makes like $1 billion or so. Okay, Foursquare. In March 2009, Foursquare launched at the SXSW Interactive Festival in Austin, Texas. Foursquare was a location-based mobile platform that made cities more interesting to explore. Users collect points and virtual badges in return for checking in and sharing their location with friends. This was a brand new type of mobile app, utilizing API to deliver a new generation of location-aware, API-driven applications. Okay, interesting. So it's saying user collect point virtual badges in return for checking in and sharing their locations with friends. Brand new type of mobile app utilizing APIs to deliver a new generation of location awareness API. It talks with like the location of the phone, I guess, obviously. Like Apple's API to get the location or something. The user says yes, and they go in, and festival happens. You see your friends on the screen, and you say hi. Instagram. The mobile revolution of the internet was underway when October 6, 2010, Instagram launched photo sharing iPhone applications. Less than 3 months later, it had 1 million users. Instagram focused on delivering a powerful but simple iPhone app that solved common problems with quality of mobile photos as well as user frustration around sharing them. Immediately, many users complained about the lack of an Instagram API. One developer took upon himself to reverse engineer how the iPhone app worked and built his own unofficial Instagram API on top of private Instagram API in December. By January, Instagram had shut down the rogue API but had also announced that it was building one of its own, Twilio. In 2007, a new API as a product platform launched called Twilio. This introduced a voice API which allowed developers to make and receive phone calls via any cloud application and capitalized on growing need for voice-enabled apps. Over the next decade, Twilio became synonymous with essential resources we need on our phone like voice, SMS, email, and other messaging and communication applications. Yeah, I remember going to a hackathon once, last few weeks ago, and there they made an API where if your phone like you fall down, it detects that you have fallen down, some type of heart attack or something. It just calls your loved ones, and they use Twilio. Yeah, if I remember correctly, they won a prize too. I don't think that was their main product. It was blood flow counter. The mobile evolution of the web APIs, what they are today. Commercial, social, and cloud laid the foundation, but mobile put the web in our pockets. Our phones enabled us to take more pictures, record new videos, and share more stories. API-powered mobile applications have led to waves of evolution, not just in mobile phones, but in any object that can be connected to the internet. They opened up entirely new frontiers when it comes to how to create, transmit, store, and share data online. They made communication between different applications, different computers, much easier. Twitter communicating with other apps, like this guy is here. Okay, remember this guy likes football. Okay, give him these apps. Oh, right now it's X, right? Facebook would be on another level. API-powered next-generation devices. While mobile application developers were busy developing APIs to develop resources to the next generation of applications, some of them also began thinking about how everyday objects could be connected to the web. If devices such as cameras, thermostats, speakers, microphones, and sensors could connect to Wi-Fi or cellular networks, they could also send or receive data, content, media, and other digital resources via a magical new place called the cloud. Common objects were granted new life by allowing users to connect in ways they could never imagine a few years before. Yeah, right now this thing is coming from my iPhone. Like, that couldn't have been possible, like, without a good communication between this computer and that computer. Isn't that amazing? In the future, the connection between our computer is gonna become much more. It's gonna become much faster and much more intuitive to do it. And later, it's also gonna be in our brains, right? Right now, we're trying to connect through like physical, this, my eyes, computation, and then I do something. But in the later years, that make much more sense if the brain is directly connected to that, and we could have light speed travel rather than doing typing. Okay, Fitbit was established in yeah, you guys know Fitbit. Okay, measures step count, heart rate, wearable powered by API. What does it say? It's saying that the Fitbit has some machines on there, and it's measuring. It's not accurate, but it's okay enough. Light through this, how much it's moving or whatnot. Alexa, Nest. It's saying that APIs have made connection between hardware and software much more intuitive, much more easier, and it's just the beginning, and we're making something incredible. Yeah, communication has made. If you think about it, humans started off with individuals in like in the forest, just traversing for food and everything. But eventually, what happened? They started communing with each other. It started much before them. Their ancestors, monkeys, are much more furry creatures. They communed, and slowly that evolved to us. And we communed. We became groups, formed. We made agricultural revolution. Then made cities. Then made steam engines. More communication between each other, and eventually we got the internet, which is the height of our communication, and it's still the biggest thing that we have right now. We are just adding more and more information to this rock called the internet. At the same time, there are risks associated with this. Is that if somehow we humans just disappeared, then after 1,000 years everything we have will disappear. Plastic, it takes like 300 years. The rooms and everything. Yeah, I want to simulate that. How would the 8th building die after a year and everything, the weathering and everything. Yeah, that's story for another day, guys. Yeah, have a great day.